Yeah, that's on the other side of Jackson, now by Jackson State.
But 800, and Andy knows it. Andy says he's going to talk to you about it next week. He knows that farm he's talking about.
I already talked to Andy about it.
What do you say?
I don't remember what he said. All right, I don't know what's going on with the GoPro. It just stops broadcasting midstream, but we'll try it again. I don't know, maybe on some kind of timer. I don't know.
Hey, this is our first time with the joint one. We'll figure it out. If Matt might not want to do it.
I don't know. I ain't figured out my planner. I ain't figured out my planner all spring, so I might not get this figured out.
You still haven't got the planner figured out?
I had the planner figured out. It didn't even mess up on me other than two load sensors.
Kelly totally screwed up the software on it. Like, it's doing stuff I've never seen before.
You're not great.
You're going to be living in this office if you say one more thing.
Hey, it ain't a bad place to live. Robert would like to have this. He'd have him a good little...
This is where I lived when she kicked me out of the house because she thought I had COVID.
I did. I made him sleep out here because I thought he had COVID. Let's see.
Got Netflix on the TV. I mean...
I bought the TV after we redone that because I was like, well, they come out here for lunch. That way, instead of having to go to the house... Like, they can just sit in here and watch TV and then I don't have to be bothered and I go home. Let's see. From the other one, something about, how much picks do you use on your cotton by the end of the year in Tennessee?
This year we don't need to use it. I might not be using any plant growth regulator on my cotton this year.
That's awesome.
I'd say typically we make at least 2 16-ounce applications and usually a 12-ounce applications. Usually 2 to 3 16-ounce applications and 1 12, just depending on how much rain we got. So.
Somebody said, what are your thoughts on the farming simulator video game series? I don't even know anything about it. We need to ask our 12-year-old to come in here and talk to us about
I'm a Legend of Zelda guy myself. That's about the extent of what I know on video games. So
what the heck's going on down there? Is the internet provider on White Lightning? No, the GoPro is on White Lightning.
This is all on GoPro. Our GoPros have a mind of their own sometimes. Sometimes they'll come on without tell them to. Sometimes they won't come on when we want them to. Sometimes they'll just stop recording whenever they wants to. I don't know.
It says technology's great, but then it's stupid. Matt better listen to the boss lady.
I usually do. I just try not to let on that I'm listening.
Yeah.
You can't let them know they're right. They'll get the...
They get big heads that way.
All right, have the checks here. Hello. You forget that you go home with the person you work with. Like, don't be doing that.
I don't forget. You remind me every single day.
Yes, I do. Remind him every day. So you don't have to worry about that, do you?
She threatens, like, you'll be sleeping on the gas tank. Sometimes that don't bother me. I say, okay, I'm fine with that.
No, now that we have 2 kids moved out, there's a second, like a guest bedroom. And there are some nights I'm like, nope, that's it. I'm going over there. I'm not even doing it. Because he's up late, or he's on the computer, or playing video games. And we just have 2 different schedules. I'm the one who gets up like 2 hours before he does. And then he goes to bed 2 hours after I do. So
yeah, until summer vacation gets here, and then it's the other way around.
Making YouTube videos has really screwed up my sleep schedule.
Oh God!
I'll be sitting up working on one, and next thing I know, it's like to be 2 in the morning.
Oh.
And
so on average, I'm sure a lot of people will know. On average, once you download all your stuff and you start putting the video together, about how long does it take you to put a complete video together?
It normally takes about 2 hours one night cutting it down and editing, and then about another hour the next. I normally do it over 2 nights, and then another hour going through and making sure I didn't miss anything, and then about another hour to upload and make a thumbnail. So about 4 hours of video.
That's about what it takes me, and I mean, and you think once you get the video made and rendered that it's done, but no, then you got the uploading, doing the description, getting a good thumbnail, thinking of a title. And I don't know about you, I mean, I'm definitely not an artistic person. Getting ideas for this stuff is hard for me.
And
you don't ask me, and I'm the artistic person.
Because you always cussing me because I'm making another dang video.
And you know how fun it is to be sitting there and you walk in and you're like trying to talk, and all of a sudden I'm like, I've caught myself talking to him, but it's not him, it's him on the computer, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's talking in the house? Yeah.
Me and Matt was talking about this earlier. One thing I would suggest is like, if you see a video and the thumbnail doesn't really look that interesting, I know certain pictures catch y'all's eye, but go on and click on them and watch them anyways, because sometimes those are the better videos. But you know, it just don't look as catchy, or the title don't sound as catchy. But I wish y'all would watch it, because a lot of the videos of mine that y'all really like and get a lot of views, well, I may have 2 or 3 behind them that's the same thing that y'all liked, but y'all didn't click on them, and it really helps that YouTube to throw it out there for new people to see. I know, like our first day of wheat harvest video, like it's probably the biggest video I've ever debuted. It got like, which our channel's only been out for like a year, but it got like 8,000 views. And we got lots of new subscribers over that, because our regular viewers was clicking on it, and YouTube recognizes that. But a lot of those videos that y'all might skip over sometimes are just as good as those that's got the catchy title or the picture. And that's
and going along with that, this is something I've been wanting to tell everybody for a while. The way YouTube works is any kind of interaction viewers have with the video, that shows YouTube that video is gaining attention. And what we depend on, like I've got a little over 14,000 subscribers, but I only get about 10% of those subscribers actually watching my videos on a regular basis. So what we need in order to get the views up, and we get paid by views, and I mean we do it because we love putting out videos. We want to educate, we want to talk about our farm, that kind of stuff. But at the amount of time it takes to actually put in videos, I mean we need to make some money off of it anyway, because it's a lot of work. So anytime y'all see a video, if you watch it, you know, any kind of interaction really helps show YouTube that this video is popular, and we depend on YouTube to push that video so other people might watch it. So after you watch a video, if you can hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, whichever, doesn't make any difference, or even better, leave a comment. Just that kind of interaction, the YouTube computers recognize that and will help get our videos out even more, give us more views, help us make more money, which will then spur us to keep on doing what we're doing, because I can't stress, and I'll talk about this in another video, how much work actually goes into each and every video we put it out there. And I know Dylan and I talked, I mean, there's been several times the last few months, especially when we get busy in the field planting or whatever, I mean, we get burnt out on making these videos, especially if we're really not making a lot of money on the videos. We like doing it, but it does come at a pretty steep price. So anything y'all can do to help us, click that thumbs up, thumbs down, leave a comment, that sort of thing, or even better, share it. I would really appreciate it.
Well, and I like the money. I didn't really start doing it because of the monetization. I really enjoy making it, and we made videos for over a year and didn't get $1. But what the money that we have gotten from it has went back into buying some better cameras and stuff to try to make y'all little videos, little better quality video, and that's as big a thing as anything that helps us bring y'all some little better videos sometimes.
Yeah, like the GoPro y'all are watching this on, that's $300. I've got 3 of them. The wireless mic to get you good audio, that's $200. The drone that we crashed during wheat harvest, that's $1,600. I mean, there's a lot of money that goes in. My video editing software, it's $25 a month to subscription to it. So we got a lot of costs involved in it also.
It's also time consuming as well, and then you spend all the time.
I've already talked about the time.
All right, let's get back to farming. Sorry about that.
What other questions we got?
How many GoPros? Russ Thomas says, "Never fear, I'm here."
All right.
Russell has entered the room. Russell, what's going on in your part of the world? What are you working on now?
Let's see, how How does share rent for y'all? Is it on force or does landowner pay for things? I've never done share rent.
We offer 3 different types of rents. We offer cash rent, pretty much everybody understands that, and we also offer third and 2/3, whereas the landlord gets a third of all income, crop income, and any government subsidy income, but also pays a third of some of the costs like fertilizer, lime, insecticides. And then we also do an 80%, 20% rent where landlord gets 20% of all income, but is not responsible for any kind of expenses. We did 75-25 used to be pretty common, but as costs went up, input costs, some of the bigger farmers around here actually started changing their leases to 80-20, and I was in favor of it, and I don't even offer a 75-25 anymore. I picked up a couple farms that those landlords were on the 75-25, and that's what they wanted, and I worked out a bunch of figures, showing them that with me farming the ground, because I felt like I could do such a good job, that their income should remain the same, if not be a little greater, with having me farming it on an 80-20 share.
How would you farm yours?
I'm the same as Matt, but I still do for some people.
We do have a couple farms that were kind of grandfathered in, but any new farms will be on 80.
Well, like my dad's farm over there at Frog Jump, we do it on 4th. But
like your dad though.
But any land improvements, like we had a track hole over there for 2 days this spring. He pays for 25% of that. So
well, I'm just saying with us too.
If it's improving his land, it's making his farm worth more. He shares in that. But as far as fertilizer, seed, chemical, we don't.
We got in our contracts though, like any structures that built, the landlord is responsible for all of the costs on that.
There's 100 different ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, some places some of them are 50-50. I don't even know how that works.
The main thing is find a program that you and your landlord are comfortable with, and y'all are on the same page. That's the main thing.
Yeah, the way we try and structure our land rent contracts is basically the more risk that a landlord is willing to assume, the more he's going to get paid. That's why we don't offer a whole lot of cash rent, because the landlord is assuming no risk whatsoever. But the guys on third shares typically make the most money, but they're assuming a lot more of the risk. So that's kind of the way we scale things.
Wants to know, how old is the oldest piece of equipment you currently run? Well, we already know Dylan runs old equipment.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Well, you technically can't call the little tractor something we run.
Well, we got a 1956 Ford 843 Power Master, and we use it around the gym lot. I guess the oldest piece of equipment that we run regularly would be the John Deere 4440, and I think it's an 81 model.
81, really?
Now we got some tillage equipment that's probably older than that, but that's probably the oldest thing we got.
We got a 49 John Deere Model 8, but we don't use that. That's just parade tractor. We got a 73 John Deere 4230, but it don't really do any field work. It might pull a box blade while we're doing dirt work. My dad uses it in the hay field. We grind feed with it, but probably the oldest thing we run in the field is we got a 79 model 4640, and that's probably I know that's the oldest thing we got that gets used in the field.
Yeah, our next oldest, big equipment that we use. Well, our 2 module builders were built sometime in the 90s. Our cotton picker is a 2003 model, so it's on up there in years. Hey, and then after that, you got my truck, my 2 personal trucks. They're probably the next oldest pieces of equipment out here.
Curious, why don't you guys bale your straw? Is there no demand for it in your area?
Well, for one thing, once we got out of the hay business, I swore up and down I would never have another hay baler on this farm again. But ultimately, the reason is, it's not the time. Time is part of it, but the amount of nutrients that you remove in a bale of straw, you can't charge enough, especially at current fertilizer prices, just to replace the fertilizer on there, and that's not even counting making any kind of profit on it whatsoever. And then, we're real big into trying to build our soils, build the organic matter levels, and so you're taking organic matter away from you're taking weed control away from the field. There's a lot of reasons for it. Now, someone come want to offer me like $100 a roll, well then it'd be worth it. But otherwise,
Moisture retention.
yeah, moisture retention's real big.
Let's see who actually crashed the drone. Zach.
Yeah, that would be Zach, but it wasn't his fault. It had a rotor failure, so.
How many times have you crashed a drone?
I'm on I think that was my third or fourth one.
Tell everybody how you crashed the third one.
I don't even remember. I've crashed so many times, I don't even remember.
You crashed the third one because you took it on your guy's ride. You come back and you tell me, oh, I gotta get a new drone. Why? Why did you get a new drone? Oh, because I crashed it trying to film a really cool shot while I was in the woods.
The propeller came off mid-flight, which is basically the same thing that happened with this one, except the motor stopped.
I'm bad about getting a little too aggressive with my drone. I almost took it out with the marker on my planner. There was one, boy, it was going to be an awesome shot. And instead of watching my phone, I got to watching the drone out there, and it went the opposite direction. You got to watch, when you're flying the drone, you got to watch your camera. You don't need to pay no attention to the drone.
And you can't trust the obstacle sensing part. It's not always, it doesn't catch everything.
But I did crash one. I did crash mine, and it survived. Once.
I've crashed a few times, and it has survived.
Oh, hold on.
Robert hung one up in a tree, and we had to wait for a big storm to blow it out.
That's what $1,600 looks like after it falls out of the sky.
From 350
From 350 feet. Awesome.
The first drone I had, Zach crashed, and it was his fault. We were out in the field, and the sprayer was out there. I don't know why he does this, but he parks it with the booms out all the way up. Looks like a freaking eagle out there. And he was coming along 30 miles an hour, and the boom ain't this tall. He managed to fly straight into that boom. I don't know how, and it like disintegrated as it went through the boom.
Somebody asked about the transmission problems in the sevens.
We had a technician from H&R out this morning, and just like I thought, he thinks it's the synchronizers. So it's going to be going up to Union City here very soon, and it looks like it's going to be a repair bill probably between $8,000 and $15,000 because they got to split the tractor in half and dive into the transmission. Maybe I need to get Dylan to look at it. You're a pro at transmissions and splitting tractors in half.
I don't know about that. I spent $5,000 on a '79 model tractor, but there's one thing about it. I split it and done it myself. But yeah, I'm not much on mechanic work.
Well, I when I was a kid or a teenager, my dad was running the farm. I despised being down in the shop, but I mean, if you want farm, that's what you got to do.
Unfortunately.
This is a good one. Give us some tips for farming in the city. We are right outside Richmond, Virginia, and the public is getting brutal to deal with, especially on the road. It don't matter where you're at. We got to deal with the public out here, too. They suck.
I'll give you some advice. First bicycle rider you come across, just nudge him to the side, and word will get out that for bicycle riders to avoid you. I'm just kidding. I'm not proposing that.
Oh God, that's so funny. Yeah, no, his Facebook post about bicycle riders like almost caused World War IV up in here.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
No. The only
advice.
advice farm around the city, I mean, you got to be conscious of every single thing you do, especially if you're spraying. Be mindful of drift, where your chemical can wind up. Be mindful of the noise you're causing, even if it might not be against the law. You still won't piss some people off. You know, be very courteous on the road. Be mindful of people behind you. You know, do your best to prevent accidents. It's a pain in the butt, no matter what you do. But just be mindful of everything you're doing. And there's someone always watching you, and more than likely they got a camera trained on you recording what you're doing. So be mindful of all that.
What models are your planters? Ours is brand new.
No.
2020.
Yeah, we got a 2020 Kinsey 3600 planter that we've outfitted with all precision planting stuff.
Go check out my video, 40-year-old high-tech John Deere planter. That's the title. That's the title. 40-year-old John Deere high-tech planter. I plant with the 1979 model John Deere 7000, but it's been outfitted with airbags, hydraulic drive, several things that some of the newer planters have.
Liquid fertilizer.
Liquid fertilizer.
That's cool.
And then we actually drilled all our soybeans with a John Deere 1560 drill. So.
I gotta say that planter video is probably one of the best videos you've ever. Well, one I enjoyed the most. I really enjoyed it.
Whatever happened to the folks that dumped trash in your property and you left them a present in the mailbox?
They as soon as it dried up, they came and got the tree and disposed of it properly. So I got nothing. I definitely got nothing bad to say. The guy actually called me after he got the letter in the mail. He was real apologetic about it. He said he had talked to the landlord's daughter-in-law and got permission from. That's what he said, but she can't give him permission because she's not the owner and not the farmer. But that was resolved. I was really hot under the collar there, but I was really pleased by the ways that they handled it. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting it.
Like I said,
What kind of stuff have you had dumped on your property before? What have you come across?
I'm pretty sure I've run across some meth labs before.
We did one time. We had to call the cops. There was people baking meth out in our field.
We work at the Trenton Industrial Park, right beside the YMCA, and there's little woods. There's 11. To give you a little backstory on this farm, there's 11 acres up by the Y, and I have roads that run 6 different directions in that field. And there's a little woods in the middle of it.
That sounds like ours.
And I found a cooler and maybe like a propane tank, and I don't know. See what else have I found.
Have you had anybody dump a load of shingles with nails and everything on your farm before?
Well, they've actually done it, but it was a landlord that done it before I ever got there. But they like dumped it in a ditch, and then we pushed the ditch. When we took it over, that was their solution to filling the ditch in, was dumping shingles in the ditch. And we went over there with a front end blade and covered them up.
We've had them dump them right on the entrance to the field, right in the middle of the drive.
A swimming pool. We had a swimming pool dumped one time.
Where was that? I don't
On
know.
Ferguson. There's a swimming. They kind of went in and then they just.
Why the
dumped
heck
it.
did we go pay $200 for a swimming pool then?
Seriously.
We could have repurposed it.
Let's see. What's your favorite tools in each tractor? Mine is a crescent, hammer, a regular screwdriver, and bungee strap.
I hate a freaking crescent wrench. I hate it with every fiber of my body. They are good for nothing except busting knuckles and rounding off heads.
My favorite tool is a hammer. I just love to knock the crap out of
Yeah.
Or if it's really bad, you chunk it as
is-
far as you can.
My only thing, if I had a superpower, I wished it would be that I could hold my hand out like this right here, and my hammer comes to me like Thor. If I could do that, that would be great. I would want that to be my superpower.
That's pretty good.
I've got 3 favorite tools: a 15/16 wrench, a 3/4 wrench, and my pocket knife, which also doubles as a pick, a screwdriver, and
A fork.
anything
I'm
else.
gonna cheat. I'm gonna say my favorite tool is my service truck. Does that count?
Well,
Yeah,
it
true.
is a tool.
I have to say, my
Because that
favorite.
is my mobile shop on wheels. I don't know how we would live with that.
Well, even in your shop, that's your.
That's
shop.
that's my. Yeah, that's everything. That is my shop. When we're working in the shop, we run the truck in the shop and work off the truck.
Does Robert put tools back where they're supposed to go?
Yes, he does better than I do.
Oh,
I will-
David,
That's
don't
got to
need it.
be my biggest gripe when I find tools out of the service truck in the shop. That just
But
makes my
here's the
blood
best
boil.
part. Sometimes he'll forget that he actually did
No,
that.
that
And then he's like, "You took my tools." And then what happens is I find them in the dryer, in the laundry hamper, or one time I found them.
I find my tools up the house because you came and swiped them and then put them back.
Nah, that'd be your son who does that too. The middle child used to be the one who used to do that all the time.
Oh yeah, he was bad.
He was so bad about that. He'd bring it up to the house, and you're like, "What the heck?" And you find him all over the house.
But somebody commented on one of our videos and like, you bought a high-end toolbox, talking about my John Deere Montezuma box, put Harbor Freight tools in. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The germination rate on tools aren't that great. So, we just used the now I do have some good name brand tools. All my metric wrenches are John Deere branded, really good. I don't know who makes them for John Deere, but they're really, really good tools. But no,
Yeah, I hardly ever wear any tools out. They get lost, no matter how careful you are. They get lost.
One tool, it is time for me to get another D-Volt, 20 volt impact wrench. I have wore it out. We was using it today, and it literally will not take. I guess everything's wore out on it. It won't take. It's not as stout as it used to be.
Let's see. Glad to see you guys maintaining your social distancing. How come Mrs. Grease is the only one having bubbles? Nope, this is not bubbles. Nope, this is black raspberry sparkling ice.
Was that a sarcastic social distancing?
I think so.
We also realize that there may be youngins watching on the video, so I will wait to partake until after the video is done.
What's your advice for a farmer trying to get started?
Don't.
No, I mean, come on, no. We have to. I mean, I don't know.
I think the best way to do it is. I mean, there's only two ways you can get started farming now. You can either be born into it or you can marry into it. Because the amount of equity you've got to have in order to get all the equipment you need, the land, everything, it's almost impossible. The best way to do it, what I've recommended to a lot of other, people just graduated high school or just out of college is get on with a good farmer that you like. And as part of your pay, see if he can work out a deal with him that you can use their equipment and let that be part of your pay. Try and pick you up 40 acres, 50 acres, and start putting in a crop that way. And just let that be let the equipment use just supplement your salary. I think you probably find a lot of farmers that would be agreeable to that, and also. It would also offer the farmer security that you're just not going to up and quit one day because you got a crop in the field that you need equipment to do.
There's a lot of that going on down my way, guys, going and helping farmers, and then they take the farmer's equipment to work their own ground, and it's a mutually beneficial thing. I will say that I guess I could kind of answer that question. Our row cropping skipped a generation. My granddad farmed, and then my mom and dad had a public job. We always had livestock, but my granddad, I started out with now even this is just lucky that my granddad did not sell his equipment, but we started out with a 4400 combine and my 246s, and I had to update planters and stuff, but I went to work for another farmer, kind of learned the ins and outs of things. I worked for him through college, and then I went to work for him full time, and worked for him for several years, and started picking up a little ground on my own, kind of like Matt's talking about, but I was using my equipment to put it in. But if you're going to start farming, you need to get in with somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. You need to, get in with somebody who knows what they're doing and learn it. Try to if you can't use their equipment, find some low cost equipment. It can be done. And just slowly work your way up. It took us, I started trying to farm in 2007, and it's 2021 now, so it's a long road to where I'm at, and I hope we're just gonna keep constantly ticking up. But in all seriousness, if you're serious about it, you better be ready to buckle down for some hard times, because it ain't easy. Trust me, I've had lots of sleepless nights. It ain't easy.
And I'd also add two other things that I've learned is don't believe every salesman that comes by your shop trying to sell you something. Everybody's got a solution that's going to make you $5 an acre profit, going to come out of a jug. Don't believe them. Do your own testing, find out what works. Don't believe the manufacturer's claim that this product's going to make you an extra 5 bushels an acre, because more than likely it's probably not. Do your own testing, do your own research. And the other thing that I've always carried throughout life is to be honest and transparent, especially with your landlords. Be fair, be honest, don't cheat anybody, be as transparent with them as you can be, to where you build up trust, to where you build up trust with your vendors and your landlords.
I mean, like, God, when we got married, I mean, like, we were still dating when his dad died, and then, his dad didn't have that many acres to begin with, and then all of a sudden we were just like, oh, well, now I'm with this guy whose dad just died, now I'm gonna be a farmer's wife, this is great. And then, like, even our first fall, that before we got married, Matt was doing it all by himself, because I was working a town job and literally was hauling
my sister was still in college.
So he was hauling a truck, then it was the water wagon behind it and the sprayer behind that. And I remember the first time he decided to do it on his own, he called me and said, yeah, I didn't turn wide enough, I flipped the sucker over, can you come help me? I'm like, oh my God. And then, like, I mean, but we had nothing but old tractors. Everything out here was old. I mean, 1977 Ford and 80 Ford. And I mean, we started off, even though we inherited it, we started off with, I mean, I look back at pictures, I mean, on the wall and everything of the stuff that we started off with, and now what we have, it's been what, how long have we been married? 15 years?
Seems like forever.
Love you too, honey. No, we've been together 16 years. And to come from that, to having all that old stuff,